Hi Vishal,
Hello Ramanujam, how are you?
I'm very good. How about you?
Absolutely fine. So, are you all set for today's webinar?
Yes, sir. Yes, many happy returns of the day to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Guys, it's Vishal's birthday today, and I am very thankful to him that in spite of all the social obligations, which is on account of social distancing, he has taken time to be with us. Thanks a lot, Vishal.
It's always a pleasure. It's Ramanujam and his sense of humor, guys. We all know that as professionals and as chartered accountants and MBA finance, our life revolves around our work, and we are always 100% committed, irrespective of whichever day it is of our lives. And I'm pretty excited about participating in today's webinar, and I've got a lot of questions for Ramanujam today because COVID 19 and the closure is becoming one of the key challenges that is being faced by every finance professional equally in India and abroad. So we are looking forward to hear from you, Ramanujam, that how is it that you are tackling the issues that you are facing in the large corporates that you are consulting, in the mid-size businesses that you have. And also, I have been hearing a lot about the sessions that you are doing with the finance fraternity on the community development initiative that you've got. How is it that you are getting up the finance professionals? So as we start the webinar in next few minutes, why don't you enlighten all of us with all the recent activities that you have been doing?
Sure, Vishal. So we have 7 more minutes to go before people come. So let's wait for that 7 minutes, and I'll answer to all your questions. You have raised all the valid points because I'm struggling with a bundle of queries from all the corporate guys and all the CA fraternity and all the financial controllers and CFOs. And there are recurring set of questions and standard questions what I'm hearing, and there are quite a few friends who have joined. Ronak, who is my very good friend and who was a part of the first batch, has joined. Thank you, Ronak, for joining. So nice of you. Rahul Srivastava has joined. Hi, Rahul. So Vishal, let's wait for 7 more minutes or 6 more minutes, and then we can start.
Sure, we are all waiting and we are excited.
Vishal, are my slides visible to you?
Yes, crystal clear.
Sure. Hi, Loveleen Bansal. Good afternoon.
We have a lot of other of your friends also. Rupesh, Nayan, we have Payal. Click on the attendees
Wow.
tab and you will be able to see all of these people.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Thank you, Ronak. Thank you for your wishes.
Hi, Fabian. Hi, Mega. Hi, Nahan. Hi, Payal. Hi, Mr. Mohammed. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Nitu. Hi, Manoj. Hi,
Hello,
Brijesh.
hello, Amar.
We have 4 more minutes before we go live on this webinar.
So Ramanujam, while they are gearing up in next 4 minutes and we have more people coming in, there's one interesting question that has come in on WhatsApp that there are how many zeros in 20 lakh crores?
That was a good one. I don't
Yeah,
know what kind of stimulus package is this, where instead of giving a grant, they are still giving a loan. Means an
yeah,
SME will still go under the waters of loan, and he will still struggle to repay that. And again, the government will be booking an NPA. But no criticism. It is just a thought, and it is always good to have a healthy debate so that we get to know new things. That is what I have been doing. Lot of fin controllers and CFOs also get into an argument with me, but all those are healthy debates. And after yesterday's discussion, I have been interacting with Vinayak, Kunal, all of them to interpret on PF laws, interpret on income tax related provisions, interacting with Akshay on the due dates, TDS and all. That is what I have been doing.
So I'll tell you what is the answer. The answer is there are 13 zeros in 20 lakh crores, and in Hindi it means 20 lakh crore में 13 zero है.
This you could have told when the webinar actually starts. This was a good one, yeah. Now, on your birthday, you have nailed it.
Thank you, bhai. So I think 2 more minutes to go, and we
Yeah,
start
yeah.
now in next
Yeah,
2 minutes.
sure. Hi Ritu, hi Karthik, hi Tejas, hi Kushal. Welcome all of you. Thanks a lot for taking out time and attending this. Hi Mr. Das. We already have more than 35 people on this, and we are expecting at least 100 people on this webinar. So let's wait for 2-3 minutes more. Hi Kishore. Hello Mr. Lakhan. Hi Payal. Hi Brajesh. Sure, Karan, the feeling is likewise. We will also be like to be in touch with you. And after today, also the association does not get over. We can have multiple sessions like this. Vishal, we can start in the next 3 minutes. Although it is 3, we should just wait for 2-3 minutes more.
Sure, Ramanujan.
Hi, Pinkesh. How are you? A lot of my friends are joining. I'm liking it. Hi, Priyanka. Two more minutes to go before we start with this wonderful webinar. Hi, Priya. Hi, Hiren. A lot of practicing CAs have joined this. I'm very happy. Very good. Hi, Amay. Oh, my friend Zahir has also joined. Vishal, our friend Zahir has also joined.
Hey Zahir, how are you? Long time.
Zahir, it's Vishal's birthday today.
My God, half the country knows by now. Yeah, stop advertising, please.
Oh, hi Sandeep. Sandeep is also joined. Very good. Okay, Vishal, I think we should start now. There are more than 60 people already there on the webinar, so I think we should not be, taking out more time. Let's start.
Okay, so it gives me a great pleasure to welcome all of you on this wonderful webinar on what are the numbers that we need to understand amidst COVID-19 so far as IFRS is concerned. Friends, we have seen that there has been a lot more attendance on the webinar side so far as these finance webinars are concerned, and increasingly the audience is demanding higher and higher quality from the speakers of the webinar and the kind of content that we intend to cover. So here is a high impact a PowerPoint webinar which is going to drive home some key aspects which are very critical so far as the book closure is concerned. And it gives me a great pleasure to invite our today's speaker, Mr. Ramanujam Narayan. And let me introduce him. He's not a chartered accountant. Yes, that's the first qualification that he has. He's not a chartered accountant, but he has led a team of more than 40 chartered accountants. So he is used to chartered accountants reporting into him, handled almost 15 to 18 different geographies in terms of entire compliance and regulations all over the globe for companies like Citigroup, for companies like TCS, for companies like Geometric, which was a part of Godrej Group. And in his last stint, he was a finance controller at HCL, Shiv Nadar's company. So he carries out and out very vast experience, being an MBA in finance from the most prestigious institute called NMIMS. He has spearheaded finance teams and has handled two integrations in his lives. He has been an integration champion, and let me tell you, so far as his oratory skills are concerned, I have personally received an award on his behalf from Bayer Crop Science on his webinar or on his seminar that he had taken on IFRS for the tax team of Bayer Crop Science. That's how he started his training career. A very witty orator. His hobby includes street plays, and he packs in a lot of punches in his webinars that he conducts. So a dry subject like IFRS on an afternoon like today, the best remedy is going to be Ramanujam Narayan. So let me not be between you and him, and let me ask him to kickstart this webinar. Over to you, Ramanujam.
Thanks a lot, Vishal. Welcome, all my friends. So we have done more than 10 to 12 webinars now, and we continuously as Finance First Division. Rather than introducing myself and talking something about myself, I would like to straight away come to the subject. That is how I am. And there are couple of rules what I follow in my webinars. Rule number one: people have already been my participants. Sandeep Thomre, Namit, why don't you say on the chat what are the rules in any session what I take? Sandeep, Ronak, come. So this particular webinar is basically scheduled on Webinar Jam, and you won't get an opportunity to speak to me probably face to face physically, but you can drop all your questions on the chat button, and I'll give specific time slot for all of you to ask questions and raise your questions whatever you have, and also I'll be answering all your questions whatever you have, whatever comes to your mind. And this is going to be a completely interactive webinar. I am not a motivational and philosophical speaker. I'm sorry, we are only fact. Yes, Pinkesh, recap is correct, but what else? When it's a webinar, I don't like to do monologue. Recap, ask good questions, revise the talk. Absolutely, Namit. So monologue is not allowed, right, Namit? So whenever I interact with all of you, you have to basically keep interacting with me. That is how I will. That is my cure for insomnia. Otherwise, I will also fall asleep. So all of you are ready. Go to the chat button and type yes, 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 please. Come on, guys, go to the chat button. Type yes, yes, yes if you are ready to, take this Power Pack webinar. Tulika, thanks. Yes, yes, yes. I want to see 76 yeses. Come on. Good. Good, 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 good. Very good. Okay. Yes, Vishal. Now there is a lot of room for us to start this.
Yes. So Ramanujam, I have been interacting with a lot of my chartered accountant friends, and all of us are worried about a few things which are going to happen after COVID-19. So I have a few questions for you. So are you ready? Shall I shoot my questions?
Sure, Vishal, you can shoot your questions.
Okay, so here it comes. My first question to you, Ramanujam, is that what are the key set of challenges that we as finance professionals or as chartered accountants working in the industry will face so far as the book closure of March 2020 is concerned?
Okay. So, Vishal, although there is no probably complete answer for this because the finance area and the financial reporting area is very vast, but there are evident areas which are going to be getting impacted because of this COVID-19, which has hit the entire industry. First of all, I want to have again one interaction that work from home for all of you is stressful completely because it is completely stressful for me. So I want to hear from all of you. So work from home is completely stressful. Go to the chat button and type yes. Yes, Prathamesh, your question will be answered. Yeah, go to the chat button and type a yes if you feel that work from home is more stressful. Absolutely, Tulika, I agree to you. What about others? They are enjoying work from home?
It is very stressful. I will answer on everybody's behalf. It is indeed very stressful to manage work life balance with no domestic help, doing all the work by ourselves, and just to quote that we did everything to become atmanirbhar. We become self reliant. We are our own chefs. We are our own maids. We are our own iron men. We become everything. Yeah. So yes, it is very stressful, my
Yes.
friend.
It's a combination. Some people are saying no also, obviously, because what happens is when you are at home, you're continuously working, and there is hardly a moment when you go out and do something. So it matters a lot when you're in office and when you're in office environment and you keep on going for a walk, you get up, you stroll, you go to friends, talk to colleagues. So it's a different environment altogether. Actually, work has increased, like, right, Mega? So coming to your question, Vishal, there are specific areas, okay? And the first area that is going to hit every company is going to be the going concern issue, right? The first thing. So there are separate set of fraternities who are attending this webinar. They are basically, some of them are practicing CAs, some of them are auditors, some of them are big fours, some of them are industry guys. So everyone is going to face different set of challenges. So going concern is going to be one important challenge which is going to impact everyone, because as a 31st March, if you don't have sufficient cash, if you don't have sufficient working capital, if your operations are going to get impacted significantly, there are specific going concern issues which organizations are going to have, right? So, and apart from this, there are many other associated areas relating to goodwill impairment, relating to fair value, which I have basically covered in detail as a part of my slide deck.
Okay, okay. So it is very interesting to note that you spoke something about goodwill impairment. I mean, suddenly, why is goodwill impairment coming into picture for closing the books of March 2020? Yeah, I want to know more about that.
That's a very good question, Vishal. If you allow, basically, I can run through my slide deck so that I can answer all the questions that you have raised.
So I think that's a great idea, friends. Let Ramanujam take us through his presentation, basically where he has covered from his recent experience of interacting with several CFOs and finance controllers. He has put together a deck, and I would suggest that Ramanujam please take us through the deck. So I have one request for all you attendees: please take a notepad and pen, or maybe your digital notepad, to start noting down key action pointers which will help you straight after the end of webinar to answer all the queries that we've been facing back in our offices. So over to you, Ramanujam. We would like to see your deck.
Yes, Vishal, let's straight away get into the subject. So this is about me. Already Vishal has covered this, so I would not like to take much time, because so this is what happens in the past. Basically, I have trained more than 1,500 people. I've undertaken several transformation projects in IFRS, US GAAP. So I continuously work with HDFC, Shriram Housing Finance. We are working working currently with Mashruq Bank also, where we are looking at their entire IFRS 9 implementations. We work with a lot of SMEs in, unlocking their financial value and finance potential and transforming themselves financially. And so these are some of our clients: JLT, Godrej, Grant Thornton, HCL, HDFC Securities, RPG. All of them are our clients. These are some of our clients actually. So after 11 years of industry experience, what I have, I would like to state that finance professionals spend majority of their efforts in doing operational work without adequate time to upskilling their knowledge to the extent required. How many of you agree to this statement? Please go to the chat button and type yes, please. Yes, Priya will cover this. How many of you agree to the fact that finance professionals spend majority of their efforts in doing operational work without adequate time to upskilling their knowledge to the extent required? We are either busy in quarter end, we are either busy in month end, we are either busy in operational GST compliances, we are either busy in TDS compliances. Am I right? All of you have to agree, because we don't have any choice. I have myself been a financial controller in listed companies, and I have seen all operational aspects. Right? We not focus on strategic priorities because of time spent on compliance, control, reporting, and cost rationalization. Am I right? Or am I right? Anand Gire from 3D PLM has also joined. Thanks a lot. Very good. All of them are either my students or my colleagues in the past. Right? We are not able to focus on strategic priorities. Right? Slave of due date. Absolutely, Hiren. I don't disagree to you at all. We are slaves of our due date. And don't be under the impression that I'm going to cover some gyan. The subject is going to come subsequently, but these are the harsh realities of a finance professional. We are not able to focus on strategic priorities. We are not able to focus on tax planning. We are not able to focus on financial reporting core, right, to learn IFRS. We are not able to focus on any aspect of learning. We are not able to delegate responsibilities due to lack of necessary skills in the finance team members. Do you agree, all of you? Because we are finance controllers, we are senior guys. Our people under us are not up to the mark when they can handle the entire closing. They cannot handle the entire reporting. They cannot handle technical accounting, due to which we also have to get involved in every aspect of accounting. Am I right? Yes? Yes? Yes, Bhuvan, I agree completely. What about others? I hope all of you agree to all three aspects, whatever we have discussed. And we do not evaluate the need of technology to reduce the efforts, and hence generally we are last to adapt to technology. This is also reality. Yes, thanks, Mr. Francis. Mr. Francis, I think, have joined from Nigeria. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Yes, let me go to the next slide. This is going to be COVID-19 and book closure impact. The entire world is closing the books virtually, right? The entire world is closing the books virtually, and technology adoption is lacking. Yes, Namit. When you close the books virtually, let us start with one single control issue. You're sitting at home. The technology environment is completely different. From an IFC perspective, isn't it the biggest risk that your organization is facing? Or you as auditor, when you look at the client reporting, client is completely working from home. Who knows that if he goes for dual employment now? Do we have a control on this? Isn't it a control issue? All of you agree? Is this the biggest control issue what organizations are going to face from an IFC perspective? Yes? Go to the chat button and respond, guys. Come on, what about others? Yes? Yes? Priyanka, yes? Nitin, yes? This is going to be the biggest control issue. Data security is going to be the biggest issue. Absolutely right. All these data securities, this Excel spreadsheet related controls, this specific security controls, all of this, isn't it a part of the larger IFC what we speak about? That is going to be the one largest area which is going to get impacted because of this COVID-19. Practicing CAs, people who are in the internal audit department, financial controllers, please make a note of it, that work from home, the technology environment needs to be thoroughly analyzed. The controls have to be put in place. Dual employment has to be monitored. Right? Let me proceed. Practical challenges. Now let's come to the core. Now you are sitting in India and you have subsidiaries. Let us say we have subsidiaries in US, and in US we have it in New York. We have subsidiaries in Italy. Okay, my TCS friends, my friends in ICICI Prudential will also agree. I have subsidiaries in China. Isn't it very difficult to get the books from the overseas countries? Because the way in which the things are going right now, people are not even getting time to take the books and consolidate it in India. that is going to be the one largest issue. So people have to really focus on closing the trial balances first for March 20 in the overseas country. We have to basically follow up continuously, and we have to take practical calls. The entire book closing probably is not possible. There will be some gaps in actual valuation. There will be some gaps in provisions. There will be some gaps in accruals. We have to live with that, and we have to take a sizable books, and we have to basically consolidate it into India, right? The consolidation is going to be a big challenge. Now, going concern is going to be the biggest issue because you guys are auditors, you guys are corporate guys. Now, going concern, if you don't have sufficient cash to repay employees, if you don't have sufficient cash to run the operations, if your employees are leaving, your factory is situated in Gujarat, and due to this COVID, your export markets have completely got impacted, isn't it a going control issue completely? Authenticity of soft copies of document verified online for audit during this time is a great challenge. Absolutely, Deepak, undoubtedly, you're right. So going concern, all of you agree is going to be the single largest issue due to COVID-19. The practical fact, okay, what all of you as auditors, take a notepad, take up and write it down. All of you, if it is a promoter driven company, you have to take something known as a comfort letter saying that if there is any shortfall in cash flows, if there is going to be any shortage, any loss to have, are going to fund this. This is a comfort letter what you are going to take if a subsidiary company. Okay, all of you make a note of it. Is it clear to everyone? Going concern related issue. The next biggest area is going to be events after reporting date. Now, events after reporting date, all of us know that we have studied something known as a subsequent event. Now, subsequent event, there are two parts. Either it is adjusting or it is non-adjusting. Some of the industries would face going concern issue. Yes, Vivek, absolutely. I would request if you have any specific question, just make a note of it, write it in a notepad, and I will give a time slot for Q&A. You can ask at that point of time. Coming back to the subsequent events, I'm putting a very simple case study. All of you can go to the chat button and basically tell me you agree or not. Lease accounting, there are a lot of landlords, lot of lessees who are basically getting the benefit in the lease terms, and they are trying to negotiate with the landlords, and there are going to be moratorium of 3 months, 3.5 months, and the lease modifications are going to happen, which is happening in first quarter. Okay. As of 31st March, the ROU asset and lease liability is already booked as per IFRS 16, all of us know. So these modifications, is it going to be an adjusting event from a subsequent event perspective, or it is going to be a non-adjusting event? Any thoughts? These modifications have got approved only in April or May. It was not pre-existing as of 31st March 2020. Thanks, Vishal. Indeed, it's a good question. And all the industry guys are facing this. I yesterday was discussing with one of the KPMG guys who was auditing McDonald's. I'll again probably repeat the question. In case of lease modification and the kind of the adjustments, what is going to happen in the lease terms, is it going to be adjusting or non-adjusting? A lot of people are saying adjusting. Bhuvan is saying non-adjusting. Deepak is saying non-adjusting. Very good. So Bhuvan and Deepak, what is the logic of non-adjusting? Can you just tell me? Why is it a non-adjusting event? Very good, Fabian. I've got some of the feedback that I'm going a bit fast. That is fine. I will reduce my speed, no problem at all. Guys, as at 31st March, there was no pre-existing conditions on particular lease contracts, right? The situation was not existing. Absolutely correct. These sort of issues are going to be faced in a very common way. Lease accounting, there is going to be some debtors who are going to basically not repay you. There are going to be a lot of issues. So as at 31st March, it becomes a non-adjusting event, right? You might feel that it is an adjusting event, and relating to lease accounting, there is a specific notification which has come from ICAI that COVID-19 related modifications, whatever come in your hand, you have to ignore that. And you have to make the ROU asset and lease liability one and the same. You don't have to consider COVID-19 impact at all, right? So moving forward, the biggest area which is going to get impacted apart from going concern and subsequent events are going to be expected credit loss model, right? ECL models, all of you would have heard, it is the new animal what all of us are facing, right? It is going to impact big time the banks and NBFCs, right? which is the single largest issue for banks and NBFCs, and particularly after yesterday's announcement from our great finance minister, which is the biggest risk that the bank is going to encounter? Anyways, for the banks, the IFRS and Ind AS is perpetually deferred at this point of time. But from an NBFC perspective, they are going to fund some 3 lakh crore. Very good, Yash. The single largest issue, what is going to impact the NBFC is going to be NPA. All of you agree? All of you agree to me? Yes, no? Risk of NPA good? Current good? Credit loss good? Yes, Rohan? Yes? Yes, Deepak, I'll answer that. Yes. So logically speaking, Vishal and others, we are going to have a big time issue in changing all our assumptions from an ECL perspective, because ECL already is a complicated subject and lot of companies will have to basically change the assumptions. Yes, Rohan, a credit worthiness of customers will change. A lot of assets will move from stage 1 to stage 2. There is going to be a significant increase in credit risk. Some assets are going to move from stage 2 to stage 3 also, which is going to be credit impaired. The PD modeling assumptions will have to be changed. The LGD modeling assumptions will have to be changed. The EAD modeling assumptions will have to be changed. And ultimately, the entire ECL approach, the entire default approach, it is going to change significantly. So guys, wait and watch. Expected credit loss models have to get evolved. We are doing IFRS 9 implementation review for one of the largest bank in UAE known as Mashreq Bank, and we are facing tremendous issue. We have asked n number of questions to them, basically how their assumptions are going to get evolved, how their models are going to get evolved, but we are still struggling because this COVID-19 will have larger implication and customer level ratings, customer level risk, customer level credit risk is going to be changed, because of which our expected credit loss itself will undergo a big change, right? Then there is going to be a significant impact in the fair value measurement. Today, if I go to even listed companies, if I go to stock exchange, if I absolutely, Ronak, wherever there is no collateral, the NPA risk are going to increase. I agree to you. The fair value measurement is going to undergo a big change. Fair value measurement is going to undergo a big change, because when we go to listed companies on the stock exchange, when we go mutual funds, the value is significantly deteriorated. Now, obviously, if the deterioration has happened in April and May, again, it is not a subsequent event. But in this period, in first quarter, we will have to take the entire mark-to-market impacts of all of those items which are going to go, undergo significant change due to fair value measurement. As of 31st March, also the stock exchange has toned down significantly. That impact will also have to be taken. Level 1, level 2, level 3 fair value measurements will have to be changed significantly. If I value a particular building, okay, that is typically level 2 or the level 3 instrument which I disclose in the books, a non-current asset. Now, if I go to value land and building, the value is going to significantly change, because fair value is no longer going to be the one and the same. On account of this, there is going to be a significant change in the valuations also. All of you agree? The valuation, the discounted cash flow, what we do, that will also undergo a change. All of you agree to me? Yes or no? Go to the chat button and please answer. The valuations and discounted cash flow of companies will change. Big time. Yes, Vishal. What about others? Pidas, yes. Yes, Karan. Yes. Yes, Tanvi, good. Yes. Yes. Nitin, yes. Yes. Yes, valuations will get impacted significantly. What about others? Come on, I want to look at 88 yeses. There are 88 people in this webinar. Yes, Sandeep. Yes, Namit. Sandeep. Yes, Namit. Obviously, it is going to change. Obviously, it is going to change. We don't have a choice today. Okay. So valuations also, the discount rate, okay, the projections, what we are taking for companies, everything needs to be changed. So logically speaking, one mantra to all of you as statutory auditors. Yes, Vivek, thank you. You have replied on behalf of everyone, 88 yeses. Cost of capital will change. Your discounting factor will change. Auditors, please make a note of it. You have to check the projections of employees. The technology would have got deteriorated. The products would have got deteriorated. The market would have got deteriorated. So definitely there is going to be a lot of cases of impairment also, which you are going to look at. All these are practical issues which we are going to face. We don't have a choice today, right? Moving forward, accounting and IFC issues is something which we saw. All the accountants, whether you are a part of accounts payable or accounts receivable, from today, the TDS rates have changed significantly. Okay, it's going to be reduced by 25%. So from today, whatever payments you make, you have to deduct TDS 25% less. Okay, and God only knows what is going to be the impact on lower deduction certificate, because if the vendor has already provided lower deduction certificate, this 25% reduction is of no use for them. That is also an open question. So there is a lot of open question which is going to be there. WACC will change due to change in cost of capital. Yes, Deepak, absolutely. So the session what happened yesterday with finance minister is going to open up windows for all of you. I believe the finance guys are going to face tough time, and you have to be excellent triangulators. Excellent triangulators. Mark my words. You develop the capability of triangulation. Can someone tell me what is triangulation? Can someone tell me what is triangulation, what I'm talking about? Yes, Mohammed, you're absolutely right. What is triangulation, which is very important for the finance guys? Come on, guys. Tie all things. Yes. 360-degree view of impact. Very good, Namit. Very good. Any other opinions of people? Very good, Namit. That is a very good answer. 360-degree view of impact means when you are looking after every sorts of actions. Very good, Karan. When I'm looking at a particular impact of one transaction, look at it from an RBI perspective, look at it from a SEBI standpoint, look at it from an ROC perspective. Most important, look at it from our father's perspective, which is income tax. Income tax is our second dad, because they follow a different set of rules known as ICDS, and we follow something known as India as an IFRS. We need to contemplate it from all the perspective that is known as triangulation capability, which all of us have to develop. That is what we cover in all our sessions, right? Help to connect the missing links. Absolutely, Sanchita. Moving forward, tax implications are going to be huge. If there is going to be a question on going concern, if there is going to be basically impact on profitability, don't you feel that the deferred tax implications or the deferred tax recognition will get impacted significantly? Yes or no? Because there is no virtual certainty that you are going to have sufficient taxable income to offset your deferred tax asset. All of you agree? All of you don't agree? Right? Deferred tax will change significantly. Already one adjustment we have seen in the last year, because when the rate got reduced, something which was recognized at 34%, it has come down to 26% or 25%. So deferred tax asset already got reversed in March 20. It is going to come down further because of these changes. Am I right or am I right? There is no second thought, right? And there is going to be a lot of impact on transfer pricing. Cost plus entities should take advantage, and they should basically justify through their documentation that the margins have reduced, and they should pay lesser taxes in India. This is known as triangulation capability, what I have already developed, and I want all of you to develop. Transfer pricing also is something what falls in your under your domain. How does cost plus entity get impacted? That is what I'm explaining, right? Because when you're sitting in offshore and the markets have got impacted, you can clearly say that the risk adjustments have changed in the overseas market also. It has got changed over here also. Impairments will impact deferred tax big time. Impairments are permanent differences here. So definitely profitability will change. So due to that, deferred tax can have impact. But as such, impairment is a permanent difference. So logically speaking, from a tax standpoint, your transfer pricing will play an important role, and all deferments have to be carefully noted on timelines. All your filings have got extended. All your income tax return will get filed only in October now. So wait and watch, and take all the impacts of disallowances and allowances very carefully in your tax computation. And whatever IFRS adjustments are coming, whatever temporary differences are there, don't fail to recognize deferred tax asset on that. Okay? Impact on valuation and ratings, which we saw, the projections are going to significantly change. When you discuss something with management, you have to basically, yes, Prathamesh, that is something what I would not like to comment on. Prathamesh is asking a simple question. I would like to answer: impact of Corona on financial job market. Let me tell you, robots come, Corona comes, pandemic comes, COVID-19 comes. Finance was always there. Finance is there. Finance will always be there. Okay, mark my words. Okay, because whatever happens, the compliance is also what I got announced yesterday, that cannot be done without a finance professional. So mark my words, just continuously try to basically upgrade yourself with new understanding, new literature, and you will win the success for sure. Okay, so coming back to our subject, impact on valuations. The valuations are going to get impacted significantly because all the discounted cash flow assumptions, all the projections are going to be coming under the lenses. Respective countries' discounting factor are going to get changed. I take an example of Italy. I take an example of basically China. All the discounting factor will change considering the local compliance and local regulation and local economy. So you have to be very careful and you have to look at each and every aspect of projections, challenge the management everywhere. And if you are a part of management, be very careful in building your projections, be realistic, because a systematic amortization is much better than an unsystematic impairment. Your fin controllers, don't hide the inefficiency. It's a global pandemic situation what has come to everyone. Okay, so we can't deny the fact, but if there is any scope of impairment, you have to take a hit and move on, so that your larger PNL, this can at least come as an exceptional item which every other entities recognizing and disclosing in their March 20 financials. Going forward, whenever you report your financial statements, at least you can have a normalized PNL. Be very careful, and already CRISIL, CARE, and other rating agencies have already identified their criteria based on risk categorization, saying that most vulnerable, moderately vulnerable, relatively less vulnerable. Relatively less vulnerable are going to be only pharmaceutical industry, essential goods industry, retail industry. Moderately vulnerable are going to be, predominantly the training industry or the learning industry, the services industry, which is going to be moderately vulnerable. Most vulnerable is going to be construction, travel and hospitality, hotel and restaurants. All these industries are going to get impacted big time, guys. So if you're doing audits of these companies, be very careful. If you're a part of these companies, be very careful. Audit issues and timelines, right? A large companies are going to also invoke their force majeure clauses, which are a part of their agreements, where they're going to go ahead and going to invoke their force majeure clause, where they'll say that a particular contract can be invoked provided force majeure clauses are getting impacted because of this pandemic situation, right? Evaluating the DCF analysis, all of you have to be very careful. Profitability of FY 2021 will be less impacted as compared to that of FY 21-22. That's correct. Risk of material misstatement. Auditors have to be very careful in identifying the risk of material misstatement, because a management can say that things are less material, but you as auditors have to be very careful in determining materiality, right? And you have to be very careful in determining the going concern issue. Qualify the accounts if you deem fit. Don't 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 try to manage relationships, okay, by hiding something. You have already seen the areas of ILFS. You have already seen the incident of Manpasan beverages. You have already seen several other companies. You have seen Satyam. You have seen every other company. Don't hide things which you already know. Even if you are a part of finance function, raise an alarm everywhere. Okay, insurance recoveries are going to be under the question, because you would be the clients will be booking a lot of recoverable. Please make sure that the insurance are actually recoverable. Test all the assumptions, whatever is there behind that. Hedge accounting is going to get impacted significantly, because if the cash flows don't come, right, if the cash flows don't come in future, then your forecasted transaction will not get met. If your forecasted transaction are not going to be met, then your hedges are going to be ineffective portion of hedges are going to get into PNL immediately, right? The ineffective portion of hedges are going to come into PNL immediately. Inventory accounting will also undergo a change, because inventories will have to be written off, because large amount of inventory will be lying in your balance sheet. You have to be very careful and make sure that the realizable value, whatever is there for inventory, is actually booked as a 31st March. If the actual sale subsequently has not happened, then there is a case of impairment of inventory also. Evaluating all contracts diligently, having potential exposures. Evaluate all the contracts, whatever the client has, and do more work. Even if the fees is less, that is fine. But if it is far better than your licenses getting cancelled, please. I would be passing certain harsh statements for all of you, but you will have to bear with it, because I talk harsh realities what I've already faced in my career. Right? So far, so good, all of you. All of you are with me? Yes, Deepak, DCF for next 2 years to be toned down due to COVID. All of you are, enjoying this session. So far, so good. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. I'm getting yeses. Okay. Yes. Yes. What about others? Yes, Vedant Travel. Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 Saraswati. Oh, lot of my previous students are also appearing here. Thank you. Yes, overhead allocation inventory also to be evaluated. Absolutely correct. Right? Okay. Statutory timelines are already got extended. So one have to make sure that whatever extension we have got, we need to do justice, and we have to make sure that our statutory timelines are absolutely being taken care of, and we do justice to our reporting. And if at all, if you feel any escalations have to be done, go to your MD, go to your CFOs. Don't wait. Okay, there are MC related extensions, there are 6K, 8K, 10K and 10Q extensions in US. There are SEC related extensions, there are quarterly results related extension, there are corporate governance extension, ROC related extension. Everything as an extension. Okay, so utilize that diligently. Other practical aspects, the IPOs are going to get impacted significantly. People are doing IPOs, their financials will get impacted significantly. Auditors who are certifying IPOs, be very careful. Employment benefits and termination benefits will have to be provided, because there is going to be a lot of situation of layoff. There is going to be a lot of situation of severance indemnity, where we are going to pay employees. Companies having subsidiaries in European region, be very careful. Lot of employees are going to file case lawsuits against you, so you will have to make a provision for severance. Okay, be very, very careful about that. Termination benefit also will have to get provided in the books of accounts. The property, plant and equipment life will also undergo a change, because the machine will not be utilized to the extent that we are envisaging, so that also have to be revalued. Several contract cancellation of leases is going to happen. Impairment of assets and goodwill is going to happen. Revenue recognition is going to get impacted. All of you, the sales returns, guys, are going to get impacted significantly. You will have to make a note of it, because there are more than 20 million, goods which are lying idle, and that is waiting to return. So all of you have to make sure that whatever returns are going to be anticipated, that has to be provided, and you have to recognize lesser revenue. Lot of companies are going to be requiring to give volume discounts. You're supposed to give price concessions. All of that has to be factored in your 31st March books of accounts when you're recognizing revenue. Please make sure about that. Okay, so I want to ask you one question. So when was the last time sales returns evaluation critical? Absolutely, Deepak. Any impact on gratuity and leave actual valuation? Anand, it is going to impact significantly. Your discounting factor is going to change. Your gratuity assumptions are going to be changed. Your escalations are going to be changed, because your assumptions of escalation, where it was 8%, it will come down to 4%, 3%, and nil also. So it is going to get changed significantly. Can you please explain AS4 and AS5? Yes, subsequent event we have already discussed, Swapnil. If you have any specific question, we can discuss. So I have a question for all of you. When was the last time you consciously took out time to upskill yourself? Be honest in your answer. When was the last time? Since Jan 20. Today? Okay, last week. Yes, Sushil, you were a part of my lectures. So absolutely you upgraded and upgraded yourself. What about others? Aj, very good, Zahir. Today, okay. What about others? What about others? 1 year back. Okay, my goodness. Expected answers. 1 month. IFRS acumen. Yes, 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 Sushil. Right. During the lockdown. Okay. Yesterday. Okay. What about others? What about others? When was the last time that you upgraded yourself? We hardly get time here. Yes, regularly update through our study circle, but study circle basically does not possibly cover all the practical aspects, whatever we cover in the industry, with due respect. Right, that is the only area where we basically try to upgrade ourselves. It's been 4 years, guys. It's been 4 years since Indias has been adopted by India. Okay, so do you have this IFRS diploma to match this requirement? Even if you don't have diploma in IFRS, how many of us basically have the working experience to prepare India's or IFRS compliant financial statements? Yes, Asif, it is possible, very much possible. We'll come to that. How many of us have a working experience to prepare Ind AS or IFRS compliant financial statements? No. Yes, I will share the deck. Don't worry. Tell me, guys. Come on. Be honest to yourself. No. Okay. No. Okay. You have. Okay. Very good. Yes. Yes. No experience. I absolutely understand because all of us are busy in our finance operations so much. Yes, absolutely. Either we would have worked with a lot of KPMGs and EYs of the world. We would have worked under the supervision of someone, but we ourselves would have not got equipped with IFRS and Ind AS knowledge. I'm sure about it, right? So, how many of you want to be fully equipped with necessary knowledge while closing your books going forward as per international standards? How many of you? Let me look at the seriousness of everyone. How many of you want to be fully equipped with necessary knowledge while closing your books going forward as per international standards? Let me look at the finance guys. Me, yes. 1. Very good, Sonali. I appreciate. 2. Yash, thanks. P. Das, thanks. Karan Choksi, yes. Very good. Jagdish, Suhas, yes. Very good, Ankit. Very good, Rupesh. What about others? Come on. Be proactive. Very good. Very good, Zahir. Very good, Anand. Very good, Vivek. Very good. Very good. Very good. What about others? Okay. I think all of you, yeah, all of us are actually interested in upgrading ourselves and, knowing to close the books. So let me So all of you are able to view my screen? The full screen what I have taken?
I can see myself and I can see you. The PPT is gone, my friend.
Yeah. Now is it clear?
Now we are back. Yes, it's very clear. The Chakraview of finance professional is what I can read.
Absolutely. So let me take you through the Chakraview. Finance professionals are always stuck in the Chakraview. Many a times people learn and they forget to apply in their daily routine. Yes, all of you agree? Many a times people learn and they forget to apply in their daily routine. Correct? People apply but they fail to review the results. After reviewing the results, they fail to make an action plan. Do you agree to this? People apply but they fail to review the results. People review but they fail to make an action plan. People make an action plan but fail to take action. Yes. And ultimately, people take action but they are not consistent. And we are finance professionals. This is what is a finance professional. We are not consistent. Right? So to be consistent, we are going to do something. Okay. But before that, there are 3 keys to basically break the loop. So all of you are ready to break this loop? Come on, we have only 15 to 20 minutes. All of you are ready? I'm going to ask you 3 questions and you are going to answer those 3 questions. Yes, Vivek, I know. All of you are ready to answer the 3 questions what I ask? Yeah? All of you, come on. Consistency is lacking, Namit, I know. Okay. So the first question goes like this. How many of you feel that auditors are only responsible for certifying the financials? Come on, let me see. How many of you feel that auditors are only responsible for certifying the financials? My answer is no. Let me start with myself. How many of you feel that auditors are only responsible for certifying the financials? Are auditors only responsible? We are supposed to sit like this and wait and watch? Absolutely, Brijesh. Absolutely. Undoubtedly, Anand. Right? So, guys, please remember, as finance professionals, we are responsible for company's financials and its implications. Let me give you a short story of Kosamatam Finance. It's a small NBFC in Kerala, what we are doing. We did their entire Ind AS implementations, and end of the implementation, their entire finance team got well equipped. And today, all their lease accounting, all their, EIR provision, expected credit loss model, everything is done by them, right? So transformation is always possible, but you need to realize the fact that auditors are not only responsible, even we are responsible for certifying our own financials, right? Question number 2, how many of you think that IFRS, US GAAP and Ind AS is actually a complex set of reporting? How many of you feel that? And I'll prove that everything has got a commercial aspect. It is not at all difficult. I feel it is not difficult. Ronak says yes, even after attending to my session. How many of you think that IFRS, US GAAP and Ind AS is actually a complex set of reporting? You feel okay? What about others? Brijesh says yes. Namit says I feel so. Okay. Umesh says no. Karan disagree. Very good. Even yes. What about others? It's difficult. No. Ronak says no. Not actually. Karishma Jain says I feel so. Okay. Let us see the key to this lock. Business drives the accounting and accounting does not drive the business, guys. Please remember. So we were doing one company called Sama Technologies in Pune, right? And trust me, we were doing ASC 606 for them, and they had to change their entire revenue contracts. They had to change their entire revenue contracts because their business gets driven in such a way, right? Because they were not compliant to ASC 606. So it is not the accounting that is very complex. It is the business which drives the accounting. So in lot of situations, we have also seen the contracts getting changed significantly because of the ASC 606 and other standard implications, right? Every accounting transaction has got a commercial substance. Mark this word and write it in your notepad, right? Now, the last and the most important question. How many of you feel finance team is all about postmortem of last year's numbers? Don't kill me, but many of us feel this. How many of you feel that finance team is all about postmortem of previous year numbers? Yes, Ron, we'll come to that. How many of you feel finance team is all about postmortem of last year's numbers? I don't feel. Never. Very good. Tanvi, you feel it is postmortem of last year's numbers? No, they very good. Partially agree. Today, unfortunately, we are in this situation where we consciously or unconsciously feel that it is a postmortem of last year's numbers. Whether robots come, whether COVID comes, whether whatever situation comes, the presence of finance team is inevitable. Finance was always there. Finance is there. Finance team will always be there. M&A transactions, strategic thought process, transfer pricing, planning cannot be done by a robot. It has to be done by finance professional only. It is not a postmortem. You have to apply your intellect and learn to analyze numbers. Right? So guys, how is the Josh? So far, so good. How is the Josh? Let me have a big sound. Come on. How is the Josh? How is the Josh? Hi. Let's go back to the OG movie and answer this. Hi. Very good. Vishal's Josh is also very high. Today is his birthday. It has to be high. Suraj, yes. Sonali, nice. Hi, sir. Yes, good. Hi. Zahir's Josh is always high here. Zahir is one of my co-faculties. Hi. What about others? Come on. Yes. So far, so good. There is a lot more to cover and too little time, unfortunately. So people who are really serious, I have a special offer for all those who are really serious about addressing the challenges of finance for March 2020. And if you all act fast, I'm going to give you an amazing deal. Okay. I will probably say very straightforward. Okay. This is not a sales pitch. I'm not at all interested. There are many people who have been my students, and I would basically urge them to give feedback on this chat, how they have felt about doing courses with me, right? Why don't auditors question on the lending approach of NBFC and HFC? It is a long story, Bharat. We can discuss that. It cannot be discussed over here. This is the people mindset. Most people would procrastinate and go to the old ways of learning. Many people save pennies on upgrading themselves, but are okay losing lakhs in making mistakes in financial statements and tax positions. Correct? Many choose to continue the routine and not draw their own career path. Okay, these are the people mindset, what we have come across. Okay, only some of us proactively take actions, sow the seed and reap the benefits. So how many of you are ready to take actions now? Tell me, how many of you are seriously ready to take actions? Then we proceed. Finance professionals are straightforward. There is no 50 shades of gray. It is either black or white. How many of you are really serious to take proactive action? I am good, Priya. Good, Jagdish. Good, Hiren. Good, Sushali. Good, Tanvi. Good, Chintan. Good, Suhas. What about others? Good, Umesh. What about others? Tara, Saraswati. Yes. What about others? Karan Choksi. What about others? What about others? Come on, I want to look at a yes from everyone. So, if at all you're going to be serious, okay, we have got a solution, because we at Contetra believe that there are going to be 4 elements which are going to be a key to manage in order to be successful: product and services, people, process, and finance. But out of this, finance is going to be the most critical, important function, because without that, no one can survive. Even in during current situation, finance acumen and financial reporting is needed to ensure right data is provided for compliance and decision making. All of you agree to this? Even in this critical time, financial reporting plays the most important role. All of you agree to me, yes or no? Because what we are going to report is what is going to be seen by investors and shareholders. All of you agree to me, yes or no? Come on. Obviously, yes. All of you. Yes, Priyanka. Yes, Karan. Yes, Sonali. What about others? Namit, yes. Yes. What about others? Come on. So we have come up with this wonderful value proposition, which I'll explain quickly. Even if you're not interested, don't leave. Just listen to this and, just see what we are here to offer. We are going to give a value proposition in the form of, we are going to give a complete journey on our blended learning track. We are going to give certain ebooks to understand the basic IFRS and how it is going to change the landscape of the finance world, and small booklets on finance related topics, which will sharpen your skills. We are going to give access to a unique learning platform, a blended learning track for a structured learning experience. We are going to give access to a 90-day group for guidance in March 2020, and we are going to give a 20 hours of intensely dedicated live webinar, 5 sessions of 4 hours each. Or sorry, it is 4 sessions of 5 hours each. We are going to do it on weekends, on how to manage book closure for March 2020 in the ongoing lockdown, implication of 10 key standard on business and its financial reporting, like revenue recognition, business combination. We are going to do consolidation. We are going to do share-based payments. We are going to do employee benefits. We are going to do lease accounting, and so on. Certain people have already attended my webinars. I would like them to share their experiences of this entire value proposition. Meanwhile, others can continue to stay. Please. Ronak, Namit, all of you, how have you felt after this webinar? I would like to welcome the feedback. Come on, we have 6 to 7 minutes. We are busy, guys. Sandeep Thomre, Ronak, Namit, I would like to share the feedback with my friends on the chat button. Awesome, Zahir. Thank you. What about others? Yes. Ronak, Namit. While you type the feedback on the chat button, I'll just proceed. Those who have already learned IFRS, this is a good refresher course on IFRS implementation. For them also, webinar sessions were very good revision of the standards. Plus point was the practical insights, absolutely. Even you are IFRS expert, then too it is going to add value to you. Those who have no exposure to IFRS, the course will cover basic as well as COVID-19 specific grounds. Learning before and after the webinar on the blended learning track. Understand the triangulation aspect as a finance professional and implications of IFRS and other areas like taxation, FEMA, SEBI, right? This is going to be the trend. You are going to start with ebooks. You are going to do the pre-test evaluation. You are going to get video capsules. Then you will come to the classroom. You are going to go to the post-test. Thanks, Saraswati. So nice of you, right? Then you will also do certain live projects. This is going to be the entire value proposition and the journey what you are going to have. And the classroom is going to be for 20 hours on Zoom. And it is very productive. Building IFRS acumen, the objective is going to be understand the overview and objective of the IFRS, learn the industry-specific financial reporting concepts, address the challenges, handling audit issues, learn the key standards, a structured journey to enable high application. Please see this. This is going to be the coverage.
Ramanujam,
Where-
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, so see, a few of my friends and my juniors, they had a few questions. One of them has asked me that I am completely new. I don't know anything about IFRS. I am just plain commerce graduate. Will this be useful for me?
Definitely this will be useful, but if you're just a commerce graduate and coming as a fresher without any accounting knowledge, please do not join this course. Take this webinar as a knowledge bank. People only with a relevant accounting experience, even if you're not a chartered accountant, that's fine, you can join this course. And even if you're chartered accountant, you can definitely join this course. There's going to be a completely power pack situation of handling complex accounting issues, and we are going to start from the scratch and base.
Okay, another question is that I am planning to do my diploma in IFRS at a later date, maybe somewhere in December. Will this course help me to prepare for diploma in IFRS?
My friends are already responding to that in the chat button. After attending this IFRS Acumen, they are already going to join the full-fledged diploma in IFRS. What we are going to do, that is the journey. You attend this IFRS Acumen, make yourself comfortable in the accounting standards and the kind of activities what happens in IFRS. Then go for a full suite of diploma in IFRS. That will give a comfort to you, and that will act as a good base.
Okay, I am an executive working in the accounts payable section of a private limited company. I am looking for better career opportunities. Will this program help me?
Definitely, this was one of the questions for which people had called me yesterday. Sushil, I will take the name also. He was working in accounts payable, and I recommended to him that if you want to upskill yourself and manage the overall financial reporting, then definitely they should go for this course, because this course will teach them how to read financials as per IFRS. No one else does this.
Okay.
20 hours of webinar will change the way you think about you will think about the triangulation of financial implication, is what Ronak says. So these are some of the feedbacks what you have already got. Let me quickly finish it. This is going to be the course content specifically. Okay, generally a 20-hour of sessions what I generally take is costing 22,000. A BLT journey with 5 videos, 2 assessments and live projects cost about 10,000, and support group on how to deal with financial reporting challenges cost 5,000. All of them put together cost 37,000. This is the value proposition. All my corporate clients also, this is the rate at which I sell. All of this will result in direct benefit in your career progression. Trust me, guys, and increase productivity at work. So, how much would you pay for this if you enroll it today? Let me understand from you. Come on. I opened up the house for questions. My client's MSME is not required to adopt India, whether advisable to do the course. Yes, because MSMEs also today or tomorrow will go on SME platform and stock exchange. They need to upgrade themselves, Hiren. So, how many of you and how much are you ready to pay? Let me understand. A 37,000 course, and no problem. You can quote whatever amount comes to your mind. Not a problem at all. For this specific course, how much are you ready to pay? Come on, be open in your conversation. We hardly have 5 to 10 minutes. Let me have some responses. How much would you pay? 25K. My God, I'm interested to join, but parents is not allowing. My God, you can talk to me separately about these reasons. It is best to prepare yourself for the future. Absolutely. So, how much would you be ready to pay? Let me have answers to get all of this. Come on, you already shown your interest. 22K, Sushil. Okay, what about others? You can say 15K, you can say 18K, you can say 10K, whatever comes to your mind. Come on, be open. Finance guys, this is not a sales conversation. Okay, I'm genuinely asking you. I can have a complete 15K max, seeing cash inflow impacted due to pandemic. I really appreciate this, Bhuvan. Difficult question, Raja Singh. Okay, even if I tell you to estimate, come on, how much will you pay, Raja? 10K, Pratik. Okay, what about others? Come on, Boli lagao. Come on, 10K, 15K. Some of them are 25K, 20K. There are 12K. Okay, what else? Come on, guys. You can be open enough. 15K is good. Okay, 12K. P Das is saying 15K. I really appreciate. 10 to 12K. Okay, there are a lot of people who have already responded. So let me break the myth. if you basically pay between 18th to 20 May, we are going to offer this as 6K. If you enroll between 21st to 22nd, I'm going to offer it at 7,999, which is 8,000. Okay, but okay, if you register, yes, Pinkesh, I absolutely agree to you. No, Boli, absolutely. If at all you register between today and 17th of May, I'm going to offer a special lockdown price of 3,999 plus GST. Let me see how many of you are really interested and going to enroll for this. Come on. I have published the offer. Let me see how many of you are really serious to enroll yourself. How many of you are ready to enroll at this price? Come on. Only 4,000 plus GST, which comes to about 4,719.
Okay, there is a buy now button. If you click on the offers tab, there is a buy now button. If you click on the buy now button, this is the only way in which you can avail this offer. So please make the best of it. And
Very good. Yes, Hiren, this is for full course. This is for full course, Hiren. There are already 8 people who have shown interest. Come on. I want to see everyone saying this. Come on.
I'm telling you guys that the value Ramanujam I see is far higher than the price you are quoting. So the offer seems to be very, very generous. Okay.
Absolutely.
And plus, as finance professionals, since we are working from home, we have some time with us to upgrade ourselves. Because the moment we go out in the market, what is going to happen is that we are going to face some tough times. The amount of openings that were there earlier are not there, and the market has become very competitive. So unless we upskill ourselves and present a new you to the market, then it's going to be challenging for us to sustain with the kind of pay cuts and other things that are happening. If it has not happened to you so far, yes, you are lucky. But while you are lucky, create more luck for yourself and make sure that you enroll for this program, because 20 hours of learning from experts is unbelievable at this price. And friends, I am telling you that if you go out and see the entire blended learning journey, because you just don't walk into this webinar, okay, like how you walked in today. You first learn through the ebooks, then you go to learn through videos. We have a pre-assessment which helps you to gauge your IFRS knowledge. Only once you do these steps, you come to the webinar well prepared with all your questions to solve the case studies, practical examples, and implementable ideas for your company. This is very critical. And also, the whole thing does not get over with a webinar. After the webinar, we give you a post assessment to map what has been the increase in your knowledge. And after that, we go to a very important section called projects, where we give you live projects which helps you to apply whatever you have learned. So we are not just covering learning, we are covering learning plus classroom plus retention plus projects. So this is kind of an unbelievable thing offered at a price which is absolutely a throwaway price. So and finance guys are very good at calculating intrinsic value of things. So the intrinsic value compared to the price, the payoff is very, very good. So I would highly recommend all you finance professionals, chartered accountants, semi-qualified professionals to take the advantage of this once in a lifetime offer, because such things don't come at this price points very often. It is quite possible that the moment we discover vaccine and life becomes very normal from June, July onwards, you might have to pay 50,000 rupees or 37,000 rupees to get the same set of benefits, or even lesser when you come to the classroom. So right now, while the opportunity is in hand, please take the maximum advantage of the opportunity available. Right, Ramanujam?
Absolutely. So quite a few questions have come. All my previous participants are recommending it, Sushil and everyone. So the course will start immediately from 18th on the BLT. The classroom will start from 23rd May. And basically, even if you're a fresher, that is absolutely fine. There is no problem, right? So you have time. Okay, you can register. And even if you're a fresher, there is no problem. It is complete value proposition. And let me put it straight. This is not my core model. I do a lot of implementation for larger banks. This is only a knowledge building community what we are trying to build. And the objective is to have maximum participation. Right? I missed the class schedule. Please cover once again, Raja. Yes, the class is going to start from 23rd. And we are going to cover all the complex standard of Ind AS. And it is going to be only on weekends. So you can be rest assured whenever you have time, only then it will be, scheduled. 5 hours of 4 days each. That becomes 20 hours. So in the entire globe, you cannot get a better offer. Let me challenge you that. And people have already attended my lectures and they have live testimonials for me. So I don't want to market or I don't want to give any sales pitch. If you want to really build value for yourself, if you want to really become a good finance professional, you can enroll for this course.
I am sure at 4,000 rupees, this is my weekend outing price, Ramanujam. I would love to enroll.
Absolutely.
And especially when I have not gone out for last 6 weekends, yeah, I have saved that money.
Absolutely, Vishal. So it is about, putting the money of 2 weekends for all of you. So let me have maximum participation. Let me at least have a confirmation from you that who wants to join so that my colleagues can get in touch with you. Come on.
The ideal way to take it up is press the buy now button and make the payment on the link that comes to you so that we can configure your email address as your login address and send you a password for blended learning track. We start learning from 18th of May. We configure this and you start.
One person has already paid. Neeraj Gompalwar. Welcome to the Contetra family. Thanks a lot. What about others? Come on, let me see action from finance guys. Yes, I want to join. Yes, there are 5 people already shown interest. What about others? Come on. Let me look at 50 yeses at least. 4K is a throwaway price for all of us. Come on. I'm interested, but need some time to manage my schedule. No problem, Dada. How about difficulties which come while reading ebooks? I'm there for you on the BLT, Vivek. Don't worry. It is diploma in IFRS. No, diploma in IFRS, we do it for 75 hours. You can do this, take your own comfort herein, and then come for diploma in IFRS. This price get adjusted in the diploma in IFRS automatically.
This is a precursor. This is a precursor to diploma in IFRS. It helps you to prepare, and then you can take up a bigger program called diploma in IFRS. Vivek, when you are facing difficulties in reading ebook, there is a button inside the blended learning platform. There is a button, forum button. You can press the forum button and reach out to the subject matter expert, and he will answer to all your queries within 24 hours. So yes, thank you, Pratik. If you want to join, please go to the buy now button and make the payment. The best decision that is taken right now. We usually don't think when we buy iPods or other things on Amazon, which are far more expensive than this, but this is really going to enhance and put one more feather into your cap and your earning capacity. So it actually benefits you in a cash flow perspective. So my suggestion is that all of you should take it up. For those of you who need time to think time till tonight. Maybe Ramanujam, you are graceful enough to extend this offer till tomorrow. So today, between today and tomorrow, if you join, you can get it. Rohan, you have access of blended learning track for 90 days. We have videos, we have ebooks, everything is available. So don't worry. You can of course get the ebooks. There's no challenge.
What about others, guys? At least say that yes, I'm interested.
Vivek, the whole idea of doing this program before diploma in IFRS is so that we can cover the basics. Don't worry, the basics will definitely be covered.
50% of my students in the past have been non-chartered with basic accounting knowledge, and all of them have had a wonderful experience. So don't worry, Vivek.
Yeah, and as Ramanujam has said, this is one of our community building initiatives, and people who have joined in have benefited in several other ways in terms of becoming a part of a larger batch, networking with people, and helping each other to enhance their finance knowledge.
Thanks, Priya. Thanks, Saraswati. Couple of more. Will 20 years be enough? Yes, Vivek. 20 years is basically for an overview. Then it is followed by diploma in IFRS. That is a larger objective. In this 20 years, you will be very well versed with the IFRS and accounting concepts, what is relevant from an industry standpoint, for sure.
Yeah, Vivek, we are not going to cover all 42 standards or 43 standards. We are going to cover the critical ones which are mostly impacted. So, because of the COVID-19 situation, so that will help you to get your basics on track. And then once we get the basics on track, we can go for a detailed 75 hours program where we cover all possible standards and gear you up to write for the diploma in IFRS exam conducted by ACCA UK.
Right, Hiren, and this exam is going to be scheduled in December. It is scheduled in September, but for that batch, you will not be ready. Once you enroll our batch in July, you will be absolutely ready for the December batch. And the lectures for that will also be on Zoom because under Section 144, you're not allowed to have public participation. That's the reason we are forced to have the batches in Zoom only. And Zoom is more effective than actual batch. To be assured about that. And all my students will acknowledge that.
I was just going to say that, Ramanujam, that Zoom is far more effective. It allows us to study in the area of our comfort. And plus, since we get the access to the recorded sessions also, we are able to revise again and again, and we are able to go through the difficult concepts, and that's how, we are benefited.
Absolutely, Sushil, agreed. So far so good. I'm keeping the offer for 5 more minutes. I'll try to log off probably. And I'll see you guys in the classroom, and as a part of BLT, I'll be your tutor, and majority of the sessions will be taken by me. I'm hoping to see all of you. Bye, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed this webinar.
Thank you, Ramanujam. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So friends, as Ramanujam has left us with some interesting thoughts today, I would want to tell you that a lot of people have benefited from such workshops in the past. And this initiative, what Contetra is taking, is actually taken for the purpose of helping finance professionals to shape their future career opportunity. See, the toughest part of life is that, when it comes to finance professionals, there are very few people who give guidance or give career advice or help you or connect you with the right set of people in the industry. Our background in the finance first division is such that, we are helping large companies like Godrej Housing Finance, Sama Technologies, Blue Cognition, Product Dossier, to name a few, where we are constantly doing what we are teaching in these courses. So practical angle gets covered automatically, plus exposure to all of these clients also enable us to showcase our talent to them, that in case if they have the kind of requirements of IFRS qualified professionals, we can also refer them to you. But that is not something what we kind of give any kind of assurance on that end. We can tell you that your knowledge is something which stands you apart and becomes your USP when it comes to securing an occupation in the finance professional, and making ourselves worthy with the changing time is the mantra of the day. So I would say that all of you must take up this program, and and the investment of 4,000 rupees that we are asking you is only to make sure that serious people come in. We could have offered this free, but then, if you give something free, it has no value. I'm sure as finance professionals, all of us agree that if it is given to us free, we really don't value it and we don't take it that seriously. But if you have paid some 4,000 rupees, then you might want to, block that time of yours, invest 20 hours, make sure that you get maximum value out of it, and then go back and apply this in your real life situation back in your office, and make sure that your presence is felt. Because today, for taking care of ourselves and keeping our occupation alive, we have to show to our people that we are working, we are upgrading ourselves, we are knowledgeable, and we are indispensable to our company. Unless you differentiate yourself, it's going to be a difficult journey ahead, because these times are unprecedented. Nobody in the world has ever faced a situation like this before. And trust me, it is not your company alone, your boss alone, or your team alone. Everybody is going through the same crisis. So even if you jump from one ship to the other, the situation is not going to change. The only way in which you can take charge of the situation and change it is by upgrading yourself. So I think it's a fair ask. I still leave the decision up to you. I don't want to force down things on you. You guys are matured professionals and you can take very clear decisions for yourselves. The only thing I can tell you is that this amount of 4,000 rupees and this time investment of 20 hours is going to give you the kind of payoff which would be one of your better decisions of your life. That's all what I want to say. So thank you very much, guys, for joining in today. It was really delightful interacting with all of you. A lovely set of audience, and I would like to wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors that you have. We are all open to answer your queries, questions, problems, challenges that you may face. So kindly get in touch. With that note, I am logging off. In case if you need us, you know where to reach us. Thank you very much for participating in great numbers, and have a nice evening.